The most popular budgeting rule in America, the one financial advisors have recommended for decades, doesn't work anymore. For nearly 60% of U.S. households, the 50-30-20 rule has become mathematically impossible. And if you're struggling with your budget, this is why. Here's what the rule says. Spend 50% of your after-tax income on needs, 30% on wants, and save 20%. Simple. Clean. Except when you actually run the numbers with 2024 prices, it falls apart immediately. The median household income in America is $74,580. After taxes, that's roughly $5,100 per month. According to the rule, your needs, rent, utilities, groceries, insurance, transportation, should cost $2,550 or less. But the average rent for a two-bedroom apartment in the U.S. just hit $1,317. Add a car payment averaging $729. Groceries for a family of four, $1,200 per month. Or you're already at $3,246, over budget by $700, before you've paid for gas, phone bills, or childcare. The math doesn't work, but to understand why, we need to go back to 2005. Senator Elizabeth Warren introduced the 50-30-20 rule in her book, All Your Worth, in 2005. It was based on bankruptcy research she'd conducted throughout the 1990s and early 2000s. Back then, it actually worked. In 2005, median rent was $694. The average car payment was $379. A family of four spent roughly $585 on groceries each month. On that same median household income adjusted for inflation, needs genuinely did consume about 50% of take-home pay. Warren wasn't inventing a fantasy. She was describing the reality of middle-class budgets at the time. The rule became gospel because it reflected how money actually flowed for millions of families. Financial advisors loved it. It was simple, memorable, portable. But between 2005 and 2024, something broke. The formula stayed the same. The economy did not. Think of your budget like a house with 3 rooms of fixed size. The 50-30-20 rule assumes the furniture, your actual expenses, will always fit neatly into those rooms. But what happens when the furniture starts growing faster than the house? Here's what happened. Between 2005 and 2024, median household income rose 95%. Sounds good, but here's the problem. Rent increased 150%. Used car prices jumped 89%. Groceries climbed 79%. Health insurance premiums exploded by 140%. Childcare costs surged past 120%. Your income doubled, but your needs grew even faster. The needs furniture doesn't fit in the 50% room anymore. So where does it go? It spills into the 30% room, then into the 20% room. The wants disappear first, then the savings. By 2024, the average American household spends 63% of income on needs alone. The room is overstuffed. The rule is broken. It gets worse when you break down who's actually affected. If you're in the top 40% of earners, households making over $100,000, the 50-30-20 rule still mostly works. Your needs are roughly 45 to 48% of income. You have room to breathe, but if you're in the bottom 60%, the rule becomes financial gaslighting. For households earning $50,000 or less, needs consume 75 to 80% of take-home pay. There's no 30% for wants. There's no 20% for savings. There's barely enough to cover the essentials. This isn't a budgeting failure. It's a wage-to-cost crisis. Between 2000 and 2024, worker productivity increased 64%, but real wages only grew 17%. You're producing more value for employers, but housing, healthcare, and food costs are rising 3 times faster than your paycheck. The economy grew. Your slice didn't. The 50-30-20 rule isn't advice anymore. For most Americans, it's a reminder of an economy that used to exist. Here's what most financial content won't tell you. The problem isn't your discipline. It's not your spending habits. It's structural. The 50-30-20 rule assumes that needs are elastic, that you can cut housing, transportation, or food costs if you try hard enough. But 73% of renters report having no cheaper options in their area. The average commute in America is 27 minutes. You can't eliminate your car in most cities. Groceries are non-negotiable. Meanwhile, the costs that exploded the hardest, housing, healthcare, education, and childcare, are the four categories where market competition failed and corporate consolidation succeeded. 6 companies control 70% of the health insurance market. Rent is set by algorithm-driven pricing tools that maximize landlord profits. You're not failing a budget rule. You're losing a rigged game. The rule didn't break because of you. It broke because the economy left it behind. So what do you actually do? Abandon the rule, but keep the principle. First, build a reality-based budget. Track your actual needs spending for 2 months. If it's 65% of income, accept that. Don't torture yourself trying to hit 50%. Build your savings goal around what's actually left. Even 5 to 10% saved consistently beats 0% saved while feeling like a failure. Second, attack the biggest cost. For most households, that's housing. And if you're spending over 35% of income on rent, that's your leverage point. Can you get a roommate? Move to a lower-cost neighborhood? Lock in a rent-controlled lease? Reducing rent by even $200 saves $2,400 a year. Real money. Third, automate micro-savings. If 20% isn't possible, start with 1%. Apps like Digit or Qapital round up purchases and move pennies automatically. It's not glamorous, but $30 a month becomes $360 a year. That's an emergency fund. Fourth, increase income. The math is clear. You can't budget your way out of a wage problem. Negotiate your salary. Pick up a side gig. The 50-30-20 rule worked when wages kept pace with costs. They don't anymore. You need more income, not better budgeting discipline. The 50-30-20 rule was a mirror, not a prescription. It reflected an economy where middle-class wages could actually cover middle-class life. That economy is gone. Median rent is up 150% since 2005. Wages are up 95%. The gap isn't closing, it's widening. If you're not hitting 50-30-20, you're not broken. The formula is, what worked in 2005 can't account for 2024's cost structure. Build your budget around your reality, not someone else's rule from a different economy. The question isn't whether you're following the formula, it's whether you're surviving the math.